You're listening to Intuitive Blueprint Podcast, episode number 90. Today, we're talking about creating impact from the inside out and hitting your upper limits. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your mind and doing it with me today. If you're brand new, welcome. My name is Shanae. I am your host. If you don't know who I am a spiritual success coach, and my mission, my vision, my purpose, what I am obsessed with is helping coaches just like you master the power of your energy so that you can transform into confident, authentic leaders who run their business with ease. If you're a returning loyal listener, welcome back. So excited to have you. We are going to talk about some really cool things today. I'm really excited for today's podcast, kind of a continuation of what we dove into last week with trusting your inner guidance and really learning how to listen to it. So today we're talking about creating impact from the inside out, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about what are your upper limits and how you know when you're hitting them. So to dive in, I know you want to create an impact externally. You want to help people. You want to make a difference. You want to, make an impact on this world. But in order for you to create impact externally, it first starts within. And in order for you to help 100 people, you first have to help yourself. Whenever I am a guest speaker at masterminds or other people's group programs, this is what I start off with. That in order for you to help 100, you have to help one. In order for you to help one, you first have to help yourself. Your clients are always going to be the person that was 2 to 3 steps behind you. And in order for you to truly help them, you first have to have made that transformation and impact from within. There is so much, how do I want to put this? I know that you have like this really big purpose and you want to do so much, but all of that external success and that external impact is truly actually going to come from you doing like your own work and really truly focusing on yourself, which off the bat probably sounds kind of selfish or like, what does that mean? Like, I'm trying to help other people. Like, do you keep telling me to help myself? But that's truly what it is. So a little mini lesson on how our brain works really quick is, and I've said this on the podcast before, I'm going to say it over and over again because it's very important. It's that we we're getting data towards us in a whole different all these different submodalities. We're getting visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, right? We're smelling, we're hearing, we're seeing things. We have like 126 million bits of data coming at us per second. And the job of our subconscious mind is to filter all of that data by either deleting it, distorting it, or generalizing it and spitting it back out to 1.6 bits of data per second into what we see. So it's going to delete, distort, and generalize based on your internal model of the world, which is made up of your identity, your beliefs, your values, your memories, your experiences, your conditioning, all the way down to time and location and mood, like where you are right then and there. So perception is projection. What you see externally is a direct reflection of your own internal world. So if you want to see success externally, if you want to create an impact externally, that is first going to start from within. That first starts with you doing the work on your internal model of the world. Where is your identity? Like we talked about last week, are you truly being that person that you want to be? Where are your beliefs at? Are you operating from new beliefs that empower you and is who you want to become? Or are you building your business or building your foundation on outdated limiting beliefs. So, an example of some limiting beliefs that you may be building your business on is that, like, I'm not cut out for this, this isn't going to work, or I have to work really hard to be successful, or the belief that, I need to make everyone happy. Like, their approval of me, all subconscious, right? Their approval of me matters a lot. So let me make sure that um, I'm coming across in a way that's going to be accepted. Or maybe you're operating from values that are not truly in alignment with where you want to be. One of the offerings that I have with my clients, and something that I might be expanding out to everyone else, is I do breakthrough days. These are 6 to 8 hour coaching calls, coaching days dedicated to a personal breakthrough in your life. And during that breakthrough day, one of the things that we do is a values elicitation. And if you are on your way to becoming an entrepreneur, but within your values of what business is, wealth isn't up there, or like it's like number 10, then no wonder why you're having a really hard time selling yourself. No wonder why you're having a hard time creating revenue in your business, because you do not value wealth. There are some limiting beliefs and some unaligned thoughts about what wealth means to you that is triggering a self-sabotaging behavior versus triggering a behavior and an action that's geared towards the result that you want, right? So is this making sense? So in order for you to see that impact externally that you want to make, it all starts from within. So those are the 3 deepest layers of our internal world. That's our identity is the deepest. Next up, it's values, and it's beliefs. So if you change your identity, what happens is you change yourself at like a cellular level. And this is why it's also really, we take great care, like an NLP, to only shift a value if it's ecological in all contexts, and if that's what the client truly wants, because by shifting a value, we can, like, very very radically shift that person's life. So what are you doing in regards to your inner work? Where are you desiring to see something external of you, and realizing that, like, what you want is because it's what you lack within? One of my very dear clients kind of always says, like, I really want to help others. I really want to help others. I really want to help others. But what she really needs is to help herself. And that's not anything that, I can say to a client. You have to come to your own awakening and your own journey. But if you're listening to this podcast, I'm just going to plant that seed of, if there's anything that you're desiring externally of you, look within. Are you giving it to yourself? If you desire to be more visible on social media, are you truly seeing yourself? And then are you allowing those closest to you to truly see yourself? Are you really showing all facets of yourself? Are you speaking your truth? Are you enforcing your boundaries, holding the boundaries, not even enforcing them, but creating them? Are you being honest to yourself about what you truly desire? Like, are you really seeing yourself for all that you are? Because if you're not, then what you're going to see external of you is all the ways in which you are not being seen by others, or all the ways in which your visibility isn't working on social media. Does that make sense? So how can we utilize creating an impact from the inside out in helping us get to that next level version of ourselves? For me personally, I realized I hit an upper limit last month, and the upper limit comes from Gay Hendricks. He has a really great book. It's called The Zone of Genius. It has a really weird cover. It's a goldfish jumping out of his bowl. I mean, it makes sense. But that book changed my life. And in this book, he talks about what the upper limit problem is. And the way that he describes it, and then the way that I've heard like Tony Robbins describe it, is that we all have an inner thermostat setting. So this setting determines how much success we allow ourselves to enjoy in different areas of life, whether that be business or relationships or our own self pleasure. And when we exceed our thermostat setting, we may do something to sabotage ourselves, causing us to drop back into that old familiar zone where we feel secure. So if you're at 75 degrees and that's you making $5,000 a month and, doing this and doing that, and then all of a sudden you start making 7, 8, 9, 10K, and you're getting all of these, um, requests to do podcasts and to do all this other stuff. And so now your thermostat is hitting like 85, 90 degrees. This is outside of your comfort zone. You may, if you don't recognize that you're going to hit an upper limit problem here, you may sabotage yourself. This is, what happens to a lot of us. I mean, even in the health and fitness and nutrition world, you lose 10 pounds and then you gain 20 because you didn't address that upper limit problem. So a lot of times what happens is that it's when we achieve like a significant amount of success in one area of life that then we feel really guilty or anxious about. And then our old belief clashes with like the new positive, amazing feelings that we're getting. And then if the old belief wins, then you're likely to self-sabotage yourself. You will do something that puts you right back to where you used to be. And this is definitely what happened to me. I definitely hit an upper limit problem, and the old belief won out. And I'm not angry about it. I'm not beating myself up about it. I think it's actually really good that it happened, because I believe that challenges and obstacles are made for us. It was meant for me to happen to experience everything that I did these last couple weeks and to like really hit that lull and to kind of get into that little bit of a depression, because it reminded me so much of when I was first starting my business and how paralyzed and stuck and anxious I felt and how it was really hard to take action. I hadn't been there in such a long time. And so um, this upper limit problem, it's like, how is it happening for me? What did it teach me? And working through our upper limit problems really is about becoming aware of it, becoming aware of when you hit it, and becoming aware of what is the old belief that was driving this pattern. So what's really cool is that you can easily identify upper limit problems by identifying a few key factors. These are self-sabotage. So if you self-sabotage yourself, you're hitting an upper limit. When you find yourself worrying about things, you are hitting an upper limit problem. When you find yourself being critical or blaming others, you're hitting an upper limit. I see this one a lot with my own clients when they start to externalize an internal problem. So if it's, self-criticism of like, I didn't try hard enough, I didn't do it good enough, that's a surface level problem. And it's what's really underneath. It's like, what's the real reason why you're criticizing yourself? Or what's the real reason why you're criticizing your partner? Or what's the real reason why you're criticizing this person? That's underneath that's going to give you this answer that you're looking for, right? The real issue is, where are you stopping the flow of abundance and love and success? Because we are made to have as much abundance, love, and success as we desire. But what we lack is the capacity to allow ourselves that which we deserve and desire, because we don't think we're worthy of it, or we feel shame or guilt about it. And that's when we hit the upper limit problem, right? So when you notice yourself hitting them, the question is, where am I stopping the flow of abundance, love, and success? And how can I increase that? How can I increase my capacity to expand? And we increase that by calling in our wonder child, like we talked about last week, and Moving into the upper limit from a place of curiosity and excitement and wonder. That's the key, I think, to a lot of overcoming our own internal struggles, is to move out of the self-blame and criticism and instead move into like curiosity and wonderment of, I wonder why I did that. I wonder why I said that to myself. I wonder why I treat myself like that. And this is when we move into inner child healing and identifying the attachment wounds that created these upper limits for ourselves, these beliefs that really hinder and stop us from progressing to who we really want to be. So in his book, Upper Zona Genius, what I really like about the book is that he goes over four main upper limit problems, which I'll share with you guys today, just to give you a little background, so to see if maybe this might be where you're at. But the context of it is, from the time that we're born to 7 years old, this is when our critical mind is being developed, our subconscious mindset is being developed. So each of us carries ingrained unconscious ideas of just how happy and successful we can be. We are born and we automatically download societal and cultural conditionings of how happy and successful you can be. You download your family trauma and noticing of how successful and happy like your parents' relationship can be. And all of those unconscious ideas are just self-imposed limits. So when we can learn to expand our potential for happiness and like our potential to feel abundant, we can then move through those upper limit blocks and reach that next level of success. You guys on track with me? So the first upper limit problem that Gay teaches about is feeling fundamentally flawed. And this is that worthiness wound. This is the feeling that you, like, if you make a commitment to fully being yourself, like you might fail. This is the belief that tells you to play small, to stay small, to that if you fail, at least you failed small and not at like your biggest potential. This is like my biggest one. And this is just like not feeling good enough, feeling as if like there's constantly something bigger outside of you that you need to achieve. And this is, I think, like the belief that I see the most. And if you listen to our episode with Dr. Laura, we talked about this, the worthiness wound, which happens when um, the love that you received growing up was conditional. And so you then give yourself conditional love. So it's hard for you to love yourself unconditionally because growing up, you did not receive unconditional attention or love from a parent. Maybe like you were congratulated when you got really good grades, or your parents always identified external achievements that you did really well versus complimenting you for just being who you were or complimenting a failure, or bringing light to a failure, not in a negative way. And this isn't to say that like our parents are bad people. No, much to what Laura said last time was that we're born perfect and we're just handed to imperfect parents. Like we each have our own healing journey to do, and I think that's really the point of life, is to heal and come back home to who we are, so that then when you have kids, you're not then passing on generations and generations and generations of like mother wounds and father wounds, and instead really passing on the truth. The second upper limit problem is, or he calls it a hidden barrier. The second one is disloyalty and abandonment. And this one is when you feel that you can't expand to your full success because then it would cause you to end up all alone. That if you are successful, you're going to be abandoning everybody else. And he has two really good questions that can help you discover if you have this barrier. It's, did I break my family's spoken or unspoken rules to get to where I am? And even though I am successful, did I fail to meet the expectations my parents had of me? So if you answered yes to any of those questions, you're likely to feel really guilty as you become more successful. And this guilt can make you put on the brakes. It can make you either prematurely quit or really hold you back from doing everything it is that brings you joy and success and love. The third upper limit hidden barrier is believing that the more success makes you a bigger burden. This is this is the feeling that like you can't achieve your highest potential because you'd be an even bigger burden than you are now. So this is for those of us who feel as if like we can't take up more space or that like we are a burden. So maybe you have a hard time expressing your emotions or your feelings to a partner, or you feel guilty for feeling. um, when we learn to remove this guilt for a crime that you never committed, right? For feeling like a burden, even though you haven't done anything, what happens is that you're able to break away from this upper limit. So, this is really about acknowledging that you are not a burden and instead you're a cause for celebration. So, again, beliefs, right? Like that is not your truth. Where did you learn that? Where did that belief come from? Is that past life or is it generational? Have you seen this belief handed down generation from generation to generation? It's going to give you a lot of big insight. The last upper limit hidden barrier is the crime of outshining. And this is maybe like I would say this is like an unconscious or subconscious belief where you think that if you achieve your full success, you are going to make others look bad, or that you can't shine too much, or like you'll make others look bad. I had a client recently who had this, and the way that she put it was that it's for the good of all people. So she will dull herself or not speak up herself to make everyone around her feel better or feel good. And that's again, right? Not the truth. That is a um, conditioning, it's a trauma, it's a wound that has been handed down generation after generation after generation, or there was an experience that happened in your childhood, in your life, where you learned to not outshine, to stay small, to dull down your gifts or your talents or your genius so that your brother didn't feel bad about himself, or that your cousins didn't think that you were too much. Does that make sense? So I really love utilizing upper limits plus inner child healing in my coaching and also within myself, because this is how we start to create impact from the inside out. This is how we start to unpack like what are the hidden beliefs that are stopping me from achieving all the success that I want, from achieving all of the dreams and the goals that I desire. Going back to some key points of when you're hitting an upper limit problem, it's when we self-sabotage. It's when we start to worry, like worrying about the future. That's an indication that you're hitting an upper limit. When you have criticism or blame of yourself or others, and also a really good one that I never really thought about before was deflection. When you deflect compliments. So if someone says, wow, you did such a great job, and you're like, that was nothing. That is you deflecting. You are stopping the flow of love and abundance and success. And the cure to that, of course, is how do I hold that capacity to hold more abundance and love and success for myself? What are the new beliefs about myself that I want to adopt? What positive action step can I take to allow more room for this in my life? So, one of the like a practice that you can start to embody that's going to help you consciously allow yourself to create like a deeper capacity to hold love and success and abundance is to feel it in your body. Use like sit down for meditation and See if you can fill your heart with so much love. Feel it in your chest, in your heart, if you can feel it down all the way to your toes. And then if you can then send that love to others. This is a really great sort of like somatic practice of holding more capacity of love in your body. And you can do the same with success. What would it feel like for you? Like, what does success in your body feel like? And can you hold that expansion in your body? Um, After that, like I said, embodying your new beliefs, creating your new story, and embracing your new story, really stepping into what your zone of genius, like Gay says. What is that zone of genius? Because a lot of times we hit this upper limit when we're stepping into our zone of genius. Um, One of the apps that I love that I have on my phone is called The Pattern, and I hadn't looked at it for the past couple of months. And last week, when I was like kind of coming out of my haze and getting back into my rituals that really support me, which one of them is journaling, I opened up the pattern to see what it said, and it says I'm going through one of my timings this year is expansion, I think it was, and then it said that if or it's like career and destiny, and that this is a really great time to truly step into like my purpose and blah 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 blah. And then it said if like make that change if you need, but for me, like I am in my zone of genius, I am doing what I super love doing. So then I was like confused, I was like, why am I feeling like this? So then one of the slides said, if you love what you're doing but you're feeling unmotivated, this could be a sign that you need to commit even deeper to your purpose. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that's where I was hitting my upper limit, was I didn't feel worthy of the amount of success that I was creating for myself. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like maybe deserving is not the right word, but I think worthy was like the right word for me. Or like, yeah, I think I've shared this a lot on the podcast, but one of my biggest fears is not reaching my full potential. So then I will prematurely quit so that if I do fail, I have that thought to land back on of like, well, I didn't actually really try. Or if I fail, at least I'm failing at this level instead of failing at that level, which is like what I brought up in that first hidden barrier, right? Of feeling fundamentally flawed. It's like, yeah. So, yeah, I identified that and I was like, okay, here's my upper limit. I am so scared of failing from this like new leadership position that I'm really much stepping into with owning masculine and feminine energy and launching a certification course. I mean, like that's huge. I couldn't have even seen myself doing this 2 years ago. And that's why I hit that upper limit. That's why I hit that upper limit. And so, yeah, I think it's just it's very common as you embark on new levels of success and you launch a business or you get your first new client, like this stuff is going to pop up. So I just want to really normalize it for you and just bring it to your awareness and to your attention so that you don't bypass it, because that external impact that you want to make truly comes from within yourself. And like I said, it comes from that internal model of your world, of your identity, your values, and your beliefs. And so if you're hitting that upper limit, those beliefs that are no longer serving you, this is your chance, this is your opportunity to do the work, to notice it, to create awareness around it. No matter how annoying that might be that you're like going through this, or maybe how you might feel it's embarrassing or shameful, and just shift your attention to that real issue of how can I expand my capacity for abundance and love and success. How can I create and widen that flow? Because that's the only reason why we sabotage ourselves, is we don't think that we are deserving of the amount of abundance and love and success that is coming into our lives. So I hope that this was helpful. I'd love to hear your feedback. Again, this book that you can dive into is The Zone of Genius by Gay Hendricks, one of my absolute favorites. And I'd love to hear, what are your upper limits that you're hitting? What are you doing about it? And yeah, reach out. You can email me at hello@shanaemomoko.com, or you can send me a DM over on Instagram. Love to hear from you. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your week. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Don't forget to be your highest self. Bye for now.